Thank you, Maniji. My namaskars to all the distinguished scholars, academics, and other members present in this very important uh, 3-day conference taking place on dating of Mahabharata. You have given a wonderful name for it, Tithi Shastrartha. Shastrartha is our tradition. I'm sure next 3 days you will engage in a very meaningful Shastrartha and come out with some very important conclusions. It is said that past is still at work. Looking at all of you, I now realize the meaning of it. You are the people, the historians, the archaeologists, the academics engaged in exploring the past are the ones who keep past working. I congratulate you, compliment you for this very important initiative that you have taken. George Santayana used to say that history is always written wrong and so always needs to be rewritten. One need not agree with his first observation that it is always written wrong, but that it should always be rewritten, appreciated in the right spirit, because history is a never ending exploration about our past. As you encounter new facts, as you encounter new evidences, you always update your historical narratives. In that sense, this effort, although Professor Neera Mishra rightly pointed out, it is not the first time that such an exercise is being undertaken. Yeah, we have had this success going on for many decades. I belong to the RSS. In the RSS, there is one organization called the Itihas Sankalana Yojana. Through that organization, so a lot of work has happened in the direction of trying to date these very ancient historical events. So I really compliment you for trying to take it forward. As Professor Neera Mishra very rightly pointed out, uh, unfortunately, history writing, the methodology, even to this day, remains the Western one. We try to fit every historical record in that Western historiographic framework. Now, that framework came into existence with, as they themselves claim, with Herodotus. Now, Herodotus has been branded as father of history. Herodotus belonged to, I think, if I'm not wrong, 3rd or 4th century BCE. If he is the father of history, our Valmiki and Vyasa should be great grandfather and grandfather of history. But then nobody appreciates the fact that historical recording, historical narratives happened in India also much before the world started acknowledging history from that epic work done by Herodotus in the name of the histories. It was essentially about Greco-Persian wars. But our history predates that. But somehow the understanding about our history, again, as Professor Neeraji pointed out, that they are all poems or they are all just, classics, some kind of mythological stuff, some literature was created, but that's not really history. I came across a very, very profound statement by Emerson. Emerson says, our greatest history is still in our poetry. Meaning, what we consider as mere poetry is actually the history. It was one way of, transmitting history through generations after generations. So, classics like Ramayana, Mahabharata, these were narrated in a particular form. Uh, since there was reference to Professor B.B. Lal's work, he has done extensive work through archaeological angle, but also through historical perspective. Now, it is a fact that you are embarking on the exercise of dating the Mahabharata events, including Mahabharata war. But the problem is Mahabharata, when it was that original scripture by name Jaya, I heard that it had just some 8,000 verses. But today Mahabharata has more than 1,00,000 verses. So there was poets' own interpretation. Then subsequently, the interpreters added their interpolations. It's a Herculean task to now go back to the original sources. I, in case of trying to reach at that exact date of these historical events. I'm sure these exercises will help in moving in that direction. Uh, Methodology, as again Niraji pointed out, it is our own methodology. We have had references to things like planetary positions, eclipses. These are all benchmarks for trying to identify the exact date of all these things. So through our own methodology, you are trying to arrive at proper dating of these historical events. It's really very good. Only issue is, even through this exercise, I'm not sure whether we would be able to come to any real final conclusion about it. Hence, this should go on. Again, coming back to Professor B.B. Lal. Professor B.B. Lal, in his work, in his archaeological work, has dated it to 9th century BCE or 10th century, between 9th and 10th century BCE. It was not just based on historical evidences. It was also based on the history from Parikshit Maharaj to Udayana, then trying to take it backwards and trying to say that from Udayana, who lived in 5th century BCE, he was the 24th descendant after the Mahabharata war. Hence, he should be another 300-400 years. He followed one particular method, and he arrived at something like 9th century or 10th century BCE. But somebody like our Memphis Professor Narahari Acharya, he went back to 3100 BCE. That takes Mahabharata war to some 5,000 years back. General understanding about it is between, of course, 9th century BCE or 10th century BCE to 14th, 15th century BCE. So this exercise should go on. What we are all doing is extremely valuable. Trying to come at trying to build a consensus over the exact dating of these incidents. So my hearty congratulations to you for continuing this work. This should go on. But I will only end with a small rider, because I am not a historian, so I have this freedom to say this with you. As a historian, you will never agree with me that we Indians are never history-driven people. From this entire conference tomorrow, after 3 days, you come to the conclusion that Ramayana and Mahabharata were just myths. Even then, the respect, the reverence for Rama and Krishna among the average Indians is not going to go away. Because these did not only represent history, they also represented a civilizational value system. That value system is what is very important for us, and that is what keeps us linked up to these great narratives. While their historicity must be established, and I was told that in Ramayana, for example, there were 30 slokas, which come when Ram starts his return journey from Lanka to Ayodhya by that Pushpaka Vimana together with Sita. He narrates the geography of India that he traversed to reach Sri Lanka through 30 slokas in the journey. And one scholar told me that though that description near accurately describes the geography of India. How was it possible? How is it possible is a very interesting thing. So there is a historical element in our scriptures. I'm sure these efforts will bring us closer to that reality, and we will be able to authentically tell the world that these are all like Homer's Iliad or the history is written by Herodotus. These are also historical documents written much before the father of history, Herodotus or somebody else like Homer and all have written about Greek history. I compliment all of you. I wish you all a great success in next 3 days of deliberations. My pranams to all of you. Namaskar.